Hi guys, it's Kelsey from Green Willow Homestead. Oh my gosh, this growing season went by so quickly this year, but I'm sure that we can chalk it up to adopting a puppy, getting 4 baby goats, doing 2 farmers markets. So in this video, I'm super excited to share with you a summer update, share with you how we did the market garden this year, how we grew things, some tips and tricks, big projects that we've been working on, and then a pretty big surprise.
As I mentioned in my spring update video blog, we focused on potatoes, garlic, and herbs this year. While the garlic went in the ground at the end of 2020, we didn't plant potatoes until early May of 2021. This year, we decided to plow our rows for potatoes instead of digging them with a middle buster plow, and I highly recommend it. Our generous neighbor drove over with his John Deere, and we made quick work of planting over 120 pounds of seed potatoes. My take on the market garden this year was to use living mulch, which is a living cover crop that acts as a mulch. We planted clover, chicory, plantain, and various grasses to improve our soil structure and water retention. While you'd think that this would cause competition with water and nutrient absorption, it actually had so many benefits for our garden that I am now a living mulch convert. Thanks to the extreme diversity of plants in our garden, we had great pollinator action and predatory insect activity. The combination of living mulch and straw created ample habitats for good insects, arachnids, and amphibians. We experienced minimal deer pressure, even though our garden wasn't fenced in, thanks to deer munching on our cover crop rather than our veggies. Overall, our market veggies and herbs suffered little, if any, insect damage. All right, so let's talk about potato care. A few maintenance protocols I would love to share. First was using Mycoblast to water the plants once in July and once in August. I just watered right at the root zone. I'll drop the link to Mycoblast in the caption below. The second was supplemental watering due to drought. We used soaker hoses throughout the driest weeks of summer to make sure our potatoes were getting enough to drink. And the third was spraying potato foliage with a seaweed and fish emulsion in late June. Again, I'll drop that link in the caption. As for potato harvesting, all I have to say is our harvest was awesome. I like to wait until the potato foliage dies back to know if it's time to harvest. I also like to wait a few days if there's a heavy rain, so the skins are drier coming up out of the ground. First, I mowed the dead potato foliage back, and then using the middle buster plow again, we plowed up the potatoes to then pick up and cure for about 2 weeks. The trick to potato curing is to keep potatoes dry and in the dark for about 2 weeks so their skins harden. Since we don't have a root cellar, my creative solution was to lay out cardboard on our large car trailer and space out our potato harvest on that. Then I covered the potatoes with a dark, breathable landscape cloth. We parked the car trailer under a Quonset, so curing potatoes was easy. It was kept out of the elements. All in all, it worked really great. We cured for 2 weeks and then sold about 800 pounds of spuds at the farmers markets. Our music hardneck garlic scapes and bulbs sold out at the farmers markets, and 100% of our basil was sold directly to Perlick's distillery for their cocktails. Looking back on our market garden for 2021, I am extremely pleased. So in this year, our farm sold 400 garlic scapes, 360 bulbs of garlic, 800 pounds of potatoes, about 84-ounce bags of basil, and 500 dozen eggs. As many of you already know, we adopted 4 adorable Nigerian Darf Dolings in May, and they've been doing marvelously. We bottle fed them for almost 2 months and then slowly let them get acclimated to hay, forage, and browse. Bottle feeding was a joy for about 1 week, and then it was such a chore. I know it looks so cute, but these buggers are so nosy. Literally, they put their nose everywhere and they headbutt you in the throat. Needless to say, I was extremely pleased to get them off the bottle at the end of June. My dad fenced in a nice long paddock for them, about 1,000 feet of fencing in total, and they have been loving all of the prickly ash, the raspberry canes, goldenrod, and ash saplings. In the 3 months that they've been grazing and browsing, they've cleared about a quarter of the paddock in total. Right now, the leaves are just starting to turn and fall off the trees, so for them, it's like potato chips are falling from the sky. We have decided to hold off on breeding the 4 girls for the spring because Paul and I have a ton of other projects going on. More on that in a second. For now, the goats are basically pampered brush hogs, and you know what? That is quite all right with me. Thanks to all the digging and regrading we've been doing because of all those farm projects, there's been a ton of exposed soil that we've seeded with cover crops. This mix here is from Green Cover Seed, and it has Hubum sweet clover, sun hemp, red ripper cowpeas, mung beans, guar beans, soybeans, grain sorghum, collards, sunflowers, and safflower, not to mention buckwheat and okra. Needless to say, the chickens have loved foraging in it. I plan to cut and harvest the sunflowers for chicken treats as well. We'll be crimping all of this down at the end of the season and slowly rebuilding that soil health from all of the disturbed soil that we've got. Next on our farm project list is our milk and medical room that we are building in the barn. I mentioned in our barn update video that we've been planning on insulating and finishing a workroom of sorts in our 100-year-old milk barn. My amazing husband and my dad have been working on this project basically all summer. They plumbed in water and electric from our house, they framed the walls out, they poured a cement slab and exterior pad. They have been working so incredibly hard. This workroom will be a nice and cozy space for all my farm projects, egg washing, and medical care for the livestock. Next on our list of farm projects was mushrooms. In the spring, we inoculated oak logs with about 750 shiitake mushroom plugs. While many consider the process tedious, I found it meditative. We will hopefully have shiitake mushrooms coming up as early as next spring. I definitely plan on talking about inoculating logs with mushroom spawn in another video, but since this is my first year, I don't consider myself an expert on mushroom growing. Let's see how everything goes first, right? Also, can we talk about how small our puppy Desi is in this video? Desi is now 8 months and nearing 80 pounds. She stands taller than her brother Spot, but is completely devoted to him and us. Our Spot boy has been putting in work this year thanks to a family of foxes that have been terrorizing our flock. He has saved many of our hens multiple times this year, and I don't know how we raised poultry without him.
And as for the chickens, they did great this year. We supplied eggs to Foxtail Farms Spring CSA, which went out to the Twin Cities. And then all through the summer, we sold our eggs at the Spooners Farmers Market and the Farmers Market at Pearl Lake Distillery. That was really, really fun. We enjoyed that process a ton. I loved managing the Farmers Market at Pearl Lake. I plan to do it again next year. And the chickens, we hatched out 3 clutches and the baby chicks were so cute. We probably wound up with about 12 extra hens and a bunch of roosters. And that's not the only thing we are going to be hatching. Paul and I are expecting our first baby in March of 2022. We're definitely rethinking how we want to do the farm next year since we'll have a baby in tow. So if you have any tips or tricks for new parents, please leave comments below. Anyway, thank you for watching our summer update. We'll be sure to keep you updated throughout the fall and winter as well.